My guest tonight, comedy writer and performer Joan Reinmuth, is here to present an excerpt from her one-woman, two-character play, What Am I Missing? The play chronicles the arrest of Lenny Bruce and Margaret Sanger, who, charged with lewd and indecent behavior, are forced to share a single, dark jail cell. With only a newspaper, a match, and an abandoned couch for orientation, a revealing night sheds light on Sanger and Bruce, forging a worldview, a classic memoir of heroes, and a love child. This play is about the impact these ingenious geniuses had on each other. I'm delighted to present Joan Reinmuth, love child of Margaret Sanger and Lenny Bruce, with an excerpt from What Am I Missing?
No lights, leaking toilet, cell number 23, the lockup she never forgets. Show Margaret Sanger where to put her obscene literature and give her a newspaper so she can learn herself some decency.
Cell 23, vacancy, here, toss him in. And Mr. Bruce, remember, you say shit one more time and we throw away the key.
Shit? Man, scrap the crap. I got hang-ups in the dark here. Oh, fuck, I can't say shit? Suppose I just take one on this newspaper. Ah, heck! Now what am I sitting on? Very uncharacteristic for a newspaper. And below the fold, surprisingly soft and familiar. And it smells a heck of a lot nicer than the Daily News. Oy vey. Excuse me, darling, am I sitting on your lap? Wow, who I gotta thank for the room upgrade? Appreciate the light. Can you bring the match a little closer? Well, well, if it isn't Misdemeanor herself. I know, you're not breaking the law, just schlepping it around a little. Looks like I'm on the groovy laptop connected to the great Margaret Sanger. This very cool chick arrested for spelling the word sex. Not having sex, just spelling it correctly. They lock her up with no First Amendment rights, and here she sits by the light of her luminous soul, checking out today's newspaper. Safer to lose the matches, sister.
Now we know. It's one thing for you to think the government is the enemy, quite another thing when the government begins to think you're the enemy. Now, not likely that Lenny Bruce and Margaret Sanger were traveling in the same circles, but for tonight, their damaged wings lift off on a scheduled mission. Remember, these guys are a moving violation. They're wanted by the police. This is Comstock time, a time when any officer on the street is also an obscenity specialist. Yes, they can identify lewdness and make an arrest. This is KISS of Comstock. The Comstock laws kept it simple by eliminating the judge. Obscenity, now a thing between the cop on the street, his church, his couch, and presently, the little couch around the corner is playing at a station house near you with Margaret Sanger on birth control, Lenny Bruce on self-control. Yeah, listen up. Margaret wants to talk. Oh, my stars, Lenny. The newspaper says you circumcised yourself on stage? Because you ran out of coffee? Lenny, I want you to know I always consider pleasure to be a creative achievement, and you, my dear, are landed and touching my most pleasure spot. Calm down. Stop jumping like a grasshopper. Trust me. Don't move. I can't get pregnant. Dig it, Margaret. You are quickly becoming the swingin'est chick I know. When was your last period? 1927? Groovy man, I am wildly inspired and very, very horny. Margaret, is there a chance you want to get laid tonight? Was Lincoln a car? Well, we know that Margaret's been operating long before the 3D printer. She defied federal law every day, and she risked everything just for the right of contraception. Lenny is blown away. He said so. Actually, you hear him say, "Man, this chick, she's driving me out of my gourd." And Margaret, meanwhile, Margaret has locked herself into all things Lenny Bruce, that contraband joker, now practicing constitutional law right in the middle of her lap. Truth is, Margaret's love pulse has filled to capacity. Just me, or is stuff heating up in cell 23? Lenny? Throwing himself under the wonder wheels of Margaret's anger. And just like real couples who experience the fun of posi-traction desire, they are fucking. When suddenly, oh brother, someone ovulates. Pumping out the fresh eggs. Margaret's scared. She said she's attempting damage control. This is what she said: "I doubled up on the pill, but it was too darn late, because saying too damn late got me arrested." Well, maybe it was the slower than usual egg. Maybe it was the bebopping fast sperm. But whatever it was definitely the day Margaret starts rearranging the cell furniture. First the newspaper, then the matches, and yes, pushing the couch in the other direction. And just like that, pal, before you can say proxy war, conception occurred. Surprise, Lenny. Oh, Lenny with the listening penis. You know the uterus regenerates. You know condoms go where your penis goes. Lenny is losing his shit right now. This is him. Margaret, are there any matches in this pad? Lenny, you told me, lose them, sister. You told me it was safer without matches. Margaret over here, Lenny over here. Shit, man, Lenny is saying. Turned out to be a little more than a scare. Turned out NATO is a scare. But this, the inconceivable conceiving, and lo and behold, a love child. This kid is adorable, adorable. Her first word was contempt. Our Joan, a red diaper baby, born with a solemn one-word tattoo right across her back, said Repisog. Man, at first we thought it was just random letters, but then Joan passes in front of a mirror. Turns out, Repisog, grasshopper spelt backwards. So that's where Act 1 ended. But because we're on a scheduled mission, Act 2 is opening right now. Margaret rearranging couches and Joan up front. Oh, tears and kisses, I am officially identified. This we know for sure. Margaret called Lenny my grasshopper. She was dazzled by the silky smooth mind of his. She often said, Lenny is so fast, his intentions swallow up the action. So, I'm attached to folks prepared to make sacrifices. I climbed a mountain of banned books. I earned a belt in free speech fighting, and I worship at the foot of a tooth fairy because I am very evidence-based. I have 3 perfect birth children, and I had 3 illegal abortions. I study satire because I strongly believe that satire alerts us to how smart we actually are. You remember Margaret? I was one of the nurses working at the clinic when this creep broke in. He wired dynamite carefully, slowly, right into the sprinkler system. He ignited the load. He turned a very busy abortion clinic into a very busy car wash. And this, dear Margaret, this was my luckiest day in nursing. I helped Planned Parenthood write their motto: don't fuck with us, and don't fuck without us. Margaret is saying, Joan, how gratifying to see Lucky expanding into the universe. I read they also expanded the crime. It's now a crime to help a woman get an abortion. Wonder what you get for helping a woman to get pregnant. Accessory to an abortion? Hey, I thought pearl earrings go with everything. But Lenny, can you move the couch a little more into that corner? Joan, maybe a little florid, but I love the motto. Yo, says Lenny. Margaret, I think I'm gonna call you Moxie. Is that cool? I prefer you not. Solid, man. I think I'll call you Moxie all the time. You read the Supreme Court has leaked still another opinion by Alito. Let me see this. Said because the Constitution did not consider how a zygote was going to steer clear of COVID mutants, the Supreme Court must act. They are guaranteeing a zygote the right to a driver's license. Well, Joan, what do you expect from a jive country where détente is discouraged and it's encouraged putting people in prison for smoking flowers? And now we have a Supreme Court ruling the law of the land is dirty abortion. What do I expect? Well, frankly, I expect a marijuana leaf that does not give you the munchies. I expect a constitution to respect the difference between free sex and free sex education. If they want to extradite something, let them extradite the free press and leave Julian Assange alone. What am I missing? Yeah, what am I missing? The Supreme Court decision, not just in contempt of women, but in contempt of Congress. Didn't they swear under oath that they weren't going to touch abortion? This decision is worse than 50 years ago. But then again, we're used to fighting worse. Fighting worse is what we do. We have a long history of fighting worse. And yes, I expect that we're going to win in the courts. Margaret's asking, Joan, what is the cancel culture? And did Gandhi really own slaves? Next thing, she said, they're going to ban the books from the Library of Congress. Our democracy shrinking faster than the polar ice cap. Leonard, you are the only man I could ever be faithful to. Dig it, Moxie? We are living in a climate denier's dream. Fossil fuel and meat, the next big thing. It's a culture crisis stuck in a corporate mouth. Let them invest their last friggin' dime into fossil fuel. Then we go crypto and switch to solar. Officially now, you want green, you gotta play Wordle. Leonard, have you always been faithful to me? Chill, baby. You are the voice in my head.